the one I'd probably mention as well is, why are you using a buyer's agent? So that's a question you need to ask first. And there's actually different reasons. Like, some people do it because they don't have the knowledge. So they know they're going to stuff up. There's too much money risk at stake. We're going to use someone else who's got some kind of runs on the board. I get a lot of white collar professionals, especially in the commercial world, that are just time poor. Like, they're working 12-hour days already. Funnily enough, I've actually got some investors that I actually work with that they're just as knowledgeable as me. Like, they've got big portfolios. They know what they're doing. They're using me just as a time source because they know it takes 200, 300 hours to find a commercial. So they're doing it from a time-saving measure. You get some other people that basically just want to find more opportunities. So they're going to gravitate towards the ones we go, oh, we get more off market and we explore more areas. We've got more people doing it for you. So there's that benefit as well. So try to assess what you're doing. Most first-time investors, it's because of lack of knowledge. Like, they want to make sure they don't make a mistake. Like, going to buy a residential property in an okay suburb, as long as you don't do something silly, like buying a flood zone or a termite-ridden house or something like that, you'll probably be okay. Like, you can kind of monitor realestate.com, recent sales, and get a bit of an idea what's going on. But if it's an investment outside your backyard, you don't know what you're doing, then it's going to be the knowledge base.
Yeah, in my first journey, it was like location research was this big thing, and understanding, the opportunity cost was massive for me. So, yeah, you're right. Everyone's got a different reason to go it, and to be fair, I've worked with clients that they have the time to do it themselves. They kind of just lack the confidence to pull that trigger because there's so many options. And that's what we're talking about in another pod, is that analysis paralysis is a big one that I see too.
Yep.
And that's kind of an education piece. But, I mean, there's obviously a lot more to it in negotiation skill sets and things like that. I see a lot of value in.
Yeah. That's a good point. So actually, when I'm on a sales call and someone says, oh yeah, I've been looking for 12 months, but I haven't been able to pull a trigger, I actually, no offense, I'm actually a good salesman. I've done this or not. I know kind of what I need to do to get a deal done. I actually, as soon as they say that, I go, cool, you're using a buyer's agent because you need to kick up the bum factor. Like, you actually need someone, even like if they could find the deal, there's someone to be like, this is a good deal, please buy it. I also get a lot of time wasters that do the same thing. They call me up and they're like, oh, Steve, is Eagleby in Southeast Queensland a good suburb? And you're like, you want me to say yes? And then if I say no, they're like, why is it not a good suburb? And they want just someone to agree with them. So you get both aspects of that.
Yes. So you got to know what your time's worth. But I mean, there's some people like that. It's just one of those things. Is you try to help people wherever you can, but at the same time, it's like, well, you've got clients that are paying you for all that knowledge as well. So
there's also some people who are just a little bit misguided. Like, I quite often get people that say, oh, I want to be a developer. And I'm like, do you actually want to be a developer, or do you just want to tell people you're a developer and make big profits? And they're like, yeah, that. Because I'm like, developing is a hard game. Like, I've done a development, like, it is a lot of hours. They kind of just want to be like, I want to make lots of money really quickly. They don't actually want to be a developer, and they don't actually realize the risks involved and things like that. So quite often I'll actually convince people out of stuff like that, especially if they're starting the portfolio, because you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot by trying to reach for the stars at the start. Build a base portfolio first, then get into something slightly higher risk.
Yeah, I like that. That's that education piece. But I mean, even that goes down to what you said before, is go into your bigger picture. Like, if you want to be a developer, find a buyer's agent and ask those questions around their experience in development, because that's a whole niche product, like doing feasibilities, and you're not going to be paying 15 to 20, 25 grand for that. You're going to pay a lot more because the risk is more and the sort of reward is more. So it's always that trade-off that I find. But yeah, always asking that question around, like, well, what do they specialize in? And even seeing past deals that they've done and why they're purchasing down that can help paint that picture better for you.
Yeah, there's even sharks in that industry as well. The ones that just do developments, that's sometimes you start going into that territory that we mentioned at the start of the podcast about under the table payments and things like that. And again, previous experience doesn't mean they're going to do well in this market as well. Like, just because they did, say, I don't know, a duplex development in Newcastle 4 years ago, all those clients are going to say, this worked perfectly. This is a great company. But the market did so much of the heavy lifting. Now they might be buying, and again, I'm making up areas, so please don't go out and buy in these areas. Toowoomba, let's buy Toowoomba. That doesn't mean they're going to get the same results as well. And this is what Jared said. You need to get the responsibility of why are you actually buying there and prove it effectively.
But what about the Ferrari in the background of the video? Does that give you more confidence?
No money down. I'll put my money in the deal with you, and you'll get incredibly wealthy, juiced up to the gills. Yep, cool. Yep.
Yeah, there's so much marketing spend in this industry. That's obviously an indication because it's quite profitable, as you say. But it's just a lot of misconceptions. But how are you supposed to know? And the answer is ask the right questions.